Hey there, everyone, and welcome back to Utility Sports. Today, we're going to be talking about Kawhi Leonard and the Los Angeles Clippers. There is some news on his injury he sustained the other night in Los Angeles playing against the Utah Jazz in Game 4. That injury came with about 5 minutes left or so in the game. In transition, a little bit of a bump from Bogdanovich, I believe, or maybe it was Joe Ingles. And now, here Shams Charania is reporting Clippers fear All-NBA star Kawhi Leonard has suffered an ACL injury. Sources tell The Athletic and Stadium he is out indefinitely. This is a big shakeup to that series because the Clippers had all the momentum coming into Game 5. They had won Game 3 handedly, took advantage of Game 4, led wire to wire basically in that game. Kawhi Leonard looked phenomenal. Paul George looked phenomenal. And now the worst thing that could happen to the Los Angeles Clippers has, and that is Kawhi Leonard and his health deteriorating during the postseason when it really matters most. He's the lead dog on this team. He's the best player there. There's no question about that. He's a top 3, top 4 player in the world. And now he goes down with an ACL injury. He's going to miss Game 5. We already know that. Tonight, he will not be in action. And you have to look at this Clippers team. They spent a lot of money in free agency. They've made a lot of different moves to keep certain guys around. I think that this series isn't over yet for the Los Angeles Clippers. I'm going to be completely honest. I think that it is possible they could pull this series out still against Utah without Kawhi. However, this injury is not good for them. This makes it a lot tougher. This puts all the pressure on Paul George and also some of that supporting cast like Luke Kennard, Marcus Morris, Rajon Rondo, who we haven't really seen a ton in this Utah Jazz series. He's probably going to have to step up a little bit as well. It'll be interesting to see what Ty Lue does with his minutes as well. He's been pulling the minutes a little bit on Zubats, which is what I thought he had to do. This injury shakes up the entire league because last time Kawhi Leonard had a serious injury, he asked out of San Antonio. He's going into free agency now this offseason, as I'm assuming he's going to opt out of his player option with a chance to leave Los Angeles if he wants to or to stay. The Clippers need to not only handle this situation delicately in order to try and win a championship, which is their ultimate goal with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard being there, but they also need to handle it delicately because their future of their franchise hinges on Kawhi Leonard. If he decides to leave, blowing everything up is going to end up hurting them. They gave up so many assets to get Paul George, and if a Kawhi Leonard injury is ultimately what hurts them and leads to him departing Los Angeles, you have to look at this experiment as a total bust for them. This is out of their control, though. Kawhi Leonard gets a little bit of a freak injury, very low contact, just tweaked his knee, it looked like, and now there's the concerns. It is an ACL injury. Let me know in the comments below if you think he did tear his ACL. I don't necessarily think it is that, but it is something that's going to be tough to monitor for Kawhi Leonard and the Los Angeles Clippers. They need Kawhi there to win a championship. I don't think this series is over. I'm being completely honest with you guys. I think Paul George, Luke Kennard, Marcus Morris, Terrence Mann, who's been great, Nicholas Batum, who's been great. I think that this Clippers team is still very formidable with Paul George in the lineup. I think that there's a shot that they could still take down the Utah Jazz. However, with Kawhi Leonard out, makes it a lot tougher. Let me know in the comments below, do you think the Clippers have enough to beat the Utah Jazz at this point? And do you think this does impact Kawhi Leonard's free agency that is upcoming? A lot to watch here, a lot to unpack. Make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss out on any of the news surrounding Kawhi Leonard, his free agency. Also, leave a like on today's video. Thanks again, guys, so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the very next video.